Burkina Faso has made the best decision. Africa is rebranding. Africa is building again. Currently, the news has it that Burkina Faso has made a major economic decision by moving to nationalize its largest cotton company. What is the name of this company in Burkina Faso that is rebranding like this, that is being pushed to the high level? At least for something to be coming out, if the country is able to build a company where they are able to produce cottons, rebrand things and use it to actually produce what the country needs, tell me why there will be no employment in the country. Sofitex company is in Burkina Faso, is a business valued at around 607 million United States dollars. That is a lot of money. The government says the decision was even driven by rising financially, and that is from financial pressure. So especially the company's growing debt burden, guys, which it believes has become a heavy for private sector structure to sustain. So in all this, Burkina Faso has decided to just stop being the Burkina Faso that wasn't owning anything much to building a cotton company that worth almost $607 million of United States currency, and that is not small. Imagine a company that has so much value, even if it's placed on sale. Tell me why they wouldn't buy. Sofitex has long been one of the most important players in Burkina Faso's agricultural economy. You see, so all the products produce that Burkina Faso gets from cotton in agriculture. This Sofitex has played a very perfect role in becoming the company which helps Burkina Faso generate income. Cotton is often called the country's white gold. Yes, we have the golden color gold, which is gotten from the down, that's the soil. But this particular one is actually from agriculture. This is known as country's white gold. A lot of people do not know that cotton generates so much when it comes to a country. If a whole country has it, they manage it well, it can become a source of growth, and it plays a major role in export earnings. You see, so when they are able to produce cottons that they can even export, they are making it, they are important, and they play a major role in the rural areas and even the livelihoods of thousands of farmers. So it's not just something that Burkina Faso has invested in, but they have been earning from. So when the government announced it would be, buying out remaining private, shareholders, and also taking full ownership, it immediately signaled a shift in economic strategy. According to officials in Burkina Faso, the goal is to stabilize the company, not to wreck the company. The goal is to make the company stable. And moving forward, restructure its finances and not to milk it down, to protect the key national asset for potential collapse. So the aim is to restructure this company, make it more profitable to the country, make it more visible than just being a company that is not even growing from year to year. The state argues that the full control will allow it to offer better will allow it better manage debt, so regulate pricing and ensure that cotton farmers are not left vulnerable to global market fluctuations. So their aim is to manage it well. Their aim is to build it well to a level that it will continue to build something beautiful for Burkina Faso. But this is a move. This move is also raising deeper questions about the direction of Burkina Faso and Burkina Faso's economy. Critics of nationalization warn that this government take the full control. That is, when government take full control of the major industries, efficiency can sometimes suffer due to bureaucracies like bureaucracy, sorry. So political influence could also interference from political matters and also reduce competition. Others argue that the situation of financial distress, state intervention may be the only way to prevent complete failure of the strategic company. So it's not just pushing it over to the state, but they are looking out that the state could actually, have a way of positioning it to something more better than it is. So there is also the wider regional context, to consider. Many West African economies depend heavily on agricultural exports. Yes, so many African countries depend heavily on agricultural exports. People export their crops, people export their produce from the farms. So for Burkina Faso, cotton in particularly is extremely sensitive to global price changes. It's very sensitive to that, and that is what Burkina Faso can actually deliver. So when prices fall immediately, companies like Sofitex often struggle to maintain that profitability, like leading to debt accumulation over time. So most times they suffer this particular matter. So from a policy perspective, the decision most times reflects a growing trend in some African countries where governments, are becoming more assertive in controlling strategic sectors such as the agriculture, the mining, the energy, just like Nigeria. So government sectors controls all these energy sectors. The government controls most of them. The supporters of this approach says it protects national interest, while opponents argue it could discourage foreign investment in the long term. So most of the times people suggest a state should manage it other than the higher government. So the government promise that the government has promised something. So government's promise is that full ownership will not mean inefficiency, but rather is going to mean restructuring the phase of this business, restructuring a phase amid at long-term sustainability. So officials have even suggested that after stabilization, after it has been restructured, after stabilization has taken place, the company could even, be modernized into something more better, at least new technology. It should be modernized better, better financing system should be upgraded in such areas, like stronger oversight to improve productivity. If, for example, they don't have some machines that they need, they can actually bring in new machines for productivity, and it could help build it. However, the success of this plan will depend heavily on execution, if the people handling it are willing to execute it just as planned. So managing a very large agricultural export is not a joke, guys. Managing this agricultural export company requires not just ownership but also exercise. It requires transparency, it requires time, energy demanding, it requires consistent investment in infrastructure and even the farmer support system. So it's not just about ownership, it requires a lot of things to grow, to be expanded, for investment to be made in areas that is needed. So for now, nationalization of Sofitex stand as one of the most sufficient economic policy moves in Burkina Faso. So Burkina Faso in recent years are targeting on this. So it reflects both the pressure of the current debt realities and even the government's willingness to ask, at least to ask, and also take the boldness, take a step. The government is willing to bring all this into something more beautiful than it was. At least all those debts, the government willingness to take bold steps to protect the strategic industry is good. Debts could be paid on the long run. In the coming months, attention will likely focus how smoothly the buyout process is completed and plans could be executed, whether farmers experience any disruption, and whether this state-held model can truly deliver stability even in challenging global cotton markets. So this is what the news have. I'm just going to leave you guys to talk about your opinions in the comment section. Kindly subscribe to this channel for more information around the world.